How's everybody doing tonight? Good? I am official. You see, the thing is this, that tonight I'm here to talk to you guys about this story about the unmerciful servant, because that was me. I was that man. I was the one that Jesus told Peter about. You see, to Peter it was just a story, but to me it was real. To me it was my life. Something that I did, some decisions that I made that we're now going to go through, that I'm going to show you guys, tell you guys some of the things that I did that I'm really not so proud of to tell you about. But the end result and what I've learned from it, there's so much there. So if you guys will just follow along with me tonight, it continued from there, and Jesus talking about how I borrowed a lot of money from a king. I had borrowed a lot of money from a king, and I don't even like talking about how much it is, because I mean you guys wouldn't even understand. But I borrowed this money, and one day the king, after a long time, decided that he was going to start kind of counting his money, seeing who still owes debts to him, who still owes him money, who where his money's at. And one day the king decided to call me out.
Guard!
Yes, King.
There is a man who owes me 10,000 bags of gold. This is unacceptable. Find him and bring him to me.
Yes, King. Hey, is anyone seeing this servant of the king's that owes him money?
He's right
Yep, you're right. That's him. Hey, come here. The king has summoned your presence.
Hi.
Do you know why you're here?
I think so.
You borrowed a lot of money from me. 10,000 bags of gold. Do you have it?
See, the thing was, 10,000 bags of gold. I mean, it just sounds, it's like 10,000 bags, and you're just thinking, oh, it's just a little bit of this, right? But the thing is, you don't understand. 10,000 bags of gold for me back then, that was like 60 million days' wages. I know, I can't even fathom it, because it's so large. 10,000, I mean, I had borrowed it because I thought that I could do so much with it, but the thing was, I lost some of it I spent on stuff that I thought would get returning, and I didn't have near that amount left anymore. And so now it comes that I'm called to his courts, and who knows what's going to happen. So because I don't have it, the only thing I can do at that point is just, King, please forgive me. Give me patience.
This is unacceptable.
I will repay you. Give patience.
Do you understand what I'm capable of? I can sell all of your possessions. I can sell your wife. I can sell you to slavery. Is this what you want?
It was true. The law back then said that if a man owed money, that he could be put in prison, or worse for me, especially since he's the king, and there's no way that I'm going to repay him those 60 million days' wages. He could sell me, he could sell my wife, he could sell my kids, he could sell everything that I have for just a little bit of money that he would get back in return for that. It wasn't much, but how else was he going to get anything out of me? I didn't have anything to give him. King, I know you can do that, but please have mercy on me.
You know what? I know you're never going to get this money, and I understand how sincere your apology is. I will forgive you this debt. You will not have to pay me.
You're forgiving me?
That's right.
I owe you 10,000 bags of gold.
Not anymore.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Nothing.
The king had just forgiven me. Okay, can you imagine? I mean, I can't even, to this day, I still can't imagine what I was thinking when I took the money from the king, but how much I owed him back, and he said, forget about it. Are you kidding me? I was overjoyed. I was ecstatic. I went back home and I told my wife and my kids, hey, listen, we're not going to be sold anymore. We don't have to go into slavery. We don't have to go to jail. We don't even owe anything. It's not that we have to just work really hard and we don't owe anything, but we don't even have to pay anything back. We are free. Not too long after that, a few days went by, and there's this man that I knew. I had actually let him borrow some money not too long ago. Now, what he borrowed from me was just measly compared to what I borrowed from the king, but I mean, this guy owed me money. I wasn't really proud of what I did next, but I approached the man and, hey,
Yeah.
you remember a couple months back that I let you borrow about 100 pieces of silver?
Yeah, I do remember.
Where's it at? I kind of want it back now.
Well,
You have it, don't you? I mean, I let you borrow it so that you could earn more money.
I thought that you just gave it to me to use, and so I used it for my family because we were poor and we needed the money. at the time.
Why would I just give you money to use? I was letting you borrow it so that you would pay it back to me.
But you had so much money.
No, I didn't. But that's my money, and you owe it to me.
I don't have
no,
it.
you.
I don't have it. Please, sir. Please, have mercy.
You see, the thing is, this guy did the same thing that I did to the king, but I had forgotten what the king had done for me, and so I couldn't even show you guys, but I strangled this man for a minute because of how angry I was that he owed me those 100 pieces of silver. I mean, that's like dollars. Just a few dollars. 10, 20, 30 maybe. That this guy owed me. And you know what? At the time, I felt he deserved. I mean, I could have killed the guy. But you know what? I was so angry that, guard, take this man and take him to jail.
No, please,
He owes
I
me
need
money and he's not
time.
even paying it back.
Give me a couple more weeks.
This guy right here, he doesn't have money to pay me back.
Please,
Put him in jail until he can pay me back.
please, no.
So I put this guy in jail. This man who owed me $15, $20. Just after the king had forgiven me. I told you earlier I wasn't so proud of what I had done, but you see, the story continues from there. This man fell down and he said the same thing that I did, is have patience with me. I will pay it back. I will find a way to do it. I didn't have any grace. I wanted the money back. I was greedy. So his fellow servant fell down at his feet and begged him, saying, have patience with me, and I will pay you all. And he would not, but went, and I threw him in prison till he could pay the debt to me. And it continues and says this, so his fellow servants saw what had been done. They were very grieved and came and told their master what had been done. Just like many of you would do if you saw that. You would call out to the king and say, how can this happen? This is unjust. This is wrong. How can this man who we just saw be forgiven of 60 million days' wages, be forgiven, nothing due, and turn around and throw this guy in jail for $20? It's not right. And so from there it says, then his master called after him, and the king called this guy because he found out what had happened from the servants. Sent his guards after him to bring him back to his palace again.
Guard, I'm hearing horrible things about the man I've forgiven. Bring him back to me. I will have a word with him.
Yes, King. Alright. You've done it now. King wants you again.
This time wasn't going to be so good. Hello, King. Thanks again for forgiving me.
You do remember that.
I do.
What is this I'm hearing about your fellow servant owing you money and you sending him to prison, strangling him first? What is this about?
I don't know what came over me. He owed me money. I'd given it to him, and I just remembered that my family needed a little bit at the time, and
You wicked servant! I forgave you the debt you owed me. Where is that same compassion towards your fellow servant? You don't deserve forgiveness anymore. Take him to prison.
no. You forgave me my debt.
Tired of
It's too late.
It's a busy day.
So I was taken to prison at that time. You see, the king had forgiven me my debt. I went back, I was free, I was ecstatic, I was overjoyed. But the thing was, I didn't learn from it. I didn't take from it what I was supposed to. The king showed me an example. How could I have missed it? How could I have not seen the obvious? I mean, I had so much to repay that there was no chance that I could repay it. And he forgave me right then and there. And this man that I knew, it wasn't just that I had seen him on the street and let him borrow some money, but I knew this guy. He was one of my neighbors. This man who owed me pennies compared to, I mean, half pennies, quarter pennies. You can't even compare the amount of money that he owed me to what I owed the king. And I threw this man in jail. You know, there's valuable lessons that can come from this. From my story that Jesus shares with everybody that reads here in Matthew 18. There's 3 things tonight that I want you guys to learn from the story that I didn't learn fully until afterwards. The first thing is just the fact that we are accountable for our debts. Like, I kind of knew that going to the king, and I wasn't sure exactly what all would happen. I was accountable for my debt going. He could have thrown me in prison. He could have sold me and my family and my possessions, all of them, and not thought a thing of it, because that was law, that was normal. The second thing that I know now, but I wish I would have done then, is to learn from the king. You see, this story isn't just about a king way back when, but this story is about the King of Kings, Jesus, God, who sits on our throne in heaven. This man who we come to him with all of our sin, all of our baggage, all of our debts that we owe to him. And we come before him like many of you did last week. And we say, God, you know what, there's no way I can repay you. There's no way that I can take care of this in my lifetime. But Lord, will you forgive me for what I've done? Will you forgive me of what I owe you? And God says, you know what, for your sins you deserve hell. But today, because of the sacrifice that Jesus made that you guys talked about last week, the king sits up on his throne and with everything around him says, you know what? You don't deserve it, but I forgive you. Everything that you owe, forget about it. It's gone. As far as the east is from the west, you're free. You have no debt to pay me anymore. The excitement and the joy that I got from that, I didn't let it stick with me. I didn't understand it fully. Then the last thing is just simply this: forgive others. How can we not do that when God himself sits up there